She pull up, hop out, then she swerve. Do your two-step, your little catwalk, make it work. Make it work, Jill dance, make it work, strike a pose. Make it work, Jill dance, make it work, strike a pose.
I pull up, hop out, then I swerve. Do my two-step, my little catwalk, make it work. Make it work, Jill dance, make it work, strike a pose. Make it work, Jill dance, make it work, strike a pose.
Good morning, happy Monday. Welcome to Monday, April 5th of the day that I'm trying to release my video. Here we are again. About 6 weeks ago, I was in a very similar situation. It was the morning, like Monday morning. I hadn't made a video. I somehow made a video. I'm not quite in that same situation today because I've already filmed the recipe that I'm sharing with you. And I'm sharing one of my recent favorites. It's called Japchae. It's a Korean noodle dish. I learned it kind of recently, like about 3 months ago. I've made it 3 times in those 3 months. That's what I'm gonna be sharing with you today. It's a very easy vegan recipe. Comes together quickly, but it is a dish that you make in parts. To make this dish successfully, you have to prepare each vegetable individually. You have to cook each vegetable individually and then assemble it together in the end. I know that seems kind of daunting, but it's really not that bad, and it's perfect for me because it's a dish that I can make a little bit, take a break, and then come back to, continue working on, and then pull it together. The star of this dish is really the sweet potato vermicelli. They are specific to this dish. No other noodle will do. I mean, I suppose if you can't find anything else, you could substitute something and you'll still have a very tasty dish, but what's special about these noodles is that they are made from 100% sweet potato starch. So they're chewy, bouncy, they're a very fun noodle to eat. It's great for using vegetables that you have in your fridge that you want to use up. It doesn't have a lot of ingredients that go into the sauce. They're just like 4 ingredients. You probably already have them in your pantry. I think that's all I have to say about the dish. Yeah, I think that's about it. So let's just get right into this week's video. Okay, bye. So to make the japchae, we are starting out with the sweet potato vermicelli cooked according to package instructions. Then we have some veg, a bit of spinach, some capsicum in both green and red color. If you have yellow, that would be great too. If you don't have one, just leave it out. Some carrots cut into matchsticks, mushrooms of any variety, these are cremini mushrooms, some spring onions, a little bit of crushed garlic. For the sauce, you'll need some vegetable oil, soy sauce, and sugar. You can use a bit of salt in this recipe if you need it, and sesame oil will act as a finishing oil toward the end. To prepare the spinach, we are going to blanch it, so bring a pot of water up to a boil, submerge the spinach, and cover it up for only a minute or so, not much longer. Once it's cooked, but it's still vibrant and green, extract it and set it aside. Next, we're going to prepare each of the vegetables individually, but much in the same fashion. To prepare each vegetable, add a little bit of oil to a hot nonstick or wok, add the ingredient and a touch of salt, and then simply cook that ingredient until it brightens in color. Here I'm doing the carrots. I just finished with the spring onion. I added the oil, the carrots, a bit of salt, and I'm just moving them back and forth until they are somewhat cooked, but still bright orange. Then once the ingredients, in this case the carrots, are done, extract them from the nonstick or wok into a separate bowl and put them aside. I'm gonna do this with every single one of the vegetables, one after the other. And of course, now that I've said that, I realize that I am cooking both varieties of capsicum together, but that's because they're the same kind of vegetable and they're gonna take the same amount of time to cook. The reason for preparing each individual ingredient is because each one takes a different amount of time to cook, and we want each vegetable to retain its own flavor. Here go the mushrooms. I am trying to spread them out in one layer so that I get some nice color, a bit of nice browning on the mushrooms. And then once they've developed a little bit of that, I'm not really so particular about keeping them in one layer. I'm gonna move them around a bit. There, I have some beautiful color that you can see. And I'm just gonna finish these off until they are like, I wanna say 75% cooked, and then put them aside. Working in the same nonstick, we are going to bring together the sauce. I added a bit of oil, that's the neutral oil, not the sesame oil yet, some soy sauce, and a bit of sugar. Now I'm eyeballing it here, but there will be exact measurements for you down below in the description. We want the sugar to dissolve, the sauce to thicken, and even to bubble just a little bit. Not a full-on boil, we don't want this to burn in any way, but just a bit of a bubble. Once the sauce thickens and bubbles up, it's time to assemble this dish, so remove it from the heat and add the sweet potato vermicelli directly into the sauce. Now mine did get a little bit stuck, they sort of took on the shape of the bowl they were in, but once they hit the sauce, they will loosen up. You can use a fork, your fingers, whatever it takes to loosen those noodles. In goes the crushed garlic. This is raw garlic. It's going to add such a beautiful flavor to this dish. And we're just going to add in the veg one by one while we continue to loosen the noodles. Oh, I forgot to mention, you got to cut them up. I mean, you don't have to cut them up, but I am opting to cut them up because they're incredibly long. I've also seen other people cut them up, so I'm not too concerned about it not being authentic to cut the noodles. Back on track, I am continuing to add the vegetables and continuing to toss them together with the noodles, making sure that that sauce just coats everything really beautifully. Okay, I had a bit of a stumble with the mushrooms, but I got them in there. I actually want to say about the sauce that this is not a very saucy, noodly dish. The sauce kind of gets absorbed by the noodles and gives them their own flavor. Now here comes the sesame oil. It's more of a finishing oil in this recipe, but it definitely contributes to the flavor and the smell of this dish. And that's it, it's done. I'm adding some sesame seeds on top for garnish, but that's completely optional. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. This dish is perfect on its own. Each vegetable retains its own flavor and texture. The noodles are bouncy and fun to chew on. I hope you like this recipe, and if you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, that way you don't miss any videos from us, and we'll see you next week. All right, take care. Bye-bye.